Hello, in this clip, we want to speak a little bit about the management of psychometric data in organizations, and in particular where this type of information is used through psychometric tests or evaluations for recruitment processes. Depending on what jurisdiction you're in, certainly your own national legislation would have to be considered, but this is relevant to GDPR, both EU and UK. I just thought I'd do a Google search, and you can see the search term here is GDPR and psychometric data. And interestingly, it points to this article, Edgecom blog, handling psychometric data. Now, there's a huge number of articles available that provide very good guidance on all of this. But certainly that definition there, special category data are those considered to be particularly sensitive due to the risk to an individual's rights and freedoms and their misuse could entail. So there's many implications there for our organizations. Certainly, do your own research. You'll find that it's commonly considered to be sensitive or particularly sensitive data would be the term. Let's look at some definitions. Firstly, we've established it's personal data because it's to do with health and mental well-being in particular. I think we also have to consider the definition of profiling, because you can see here it's about predicting aspects concerning that natural person's performance at work. I mean, you can't get more explicit than that. Also worth considering then is data concerning health, means personal data related to the physical or mental health of a natural person. So I think there's no escaping it. Organizations need to take this seriously and treat it as particularly sensitive data. Yes, so just to go to the EU Commission definition, what personal data is considered sensitive? Health-related data. There you go. Can't miss it. Then, of course, GDPR brings in provisions through its articles and recitals. Here at recital 51, there's particularly good guidance on protecting personal sensitive data. Certainly, the consideration has to be about who has access to the data, the types of controls that you need to put in place, and you could look at other videos we have available to give guidance on that. But certainly you would need to make sure that only people who have an entitlement to access to data through a defined purpose. In other words, a direct manager of an employee would have a certain entitlement to have access to the data, or certainly the results of the analysis of the data. Likewise, so too would a human resources or personnel management professional, and particularly if they're involved in carrying out any psychometric tests or evaluations. And likewise, you also have to consider then how do you prevent other people from getting access. There is a rule of thumb given in the article 29 Working Party opinion, where they suggest that the only people who should really make decisions on the psychometric tests and analysis should be a person who has the competence to make that decision. That's just worth considering, and particularly not so much maybe in the recruitment process where you get clear flags, but maybe on where psychometric tests and evaluations are used for the ongoing management or internal changes and promotions within organizations. You might need a little bit of guidance on that just to make sure you're steered in the right direction. There's an interesting recital 35, which gives a little bit of information on the use of health data in organizations, and it's very specific to the treating it as health information, but it's may be applicable to yourself, so it's worth considering. How can we help? We work with a lot of organizations on preparation for ISO 27001 and GDPR. We find that when it comes to the management of sensitive data in GDPR, there isn't a better framework to use. Certainly the regulator would agree insofar as it's the national standard for data protection here in Ireland and across Europe. You can alternatively, to fill in a form, you can send us an email, contact us on our VoIP, or follow us on our LinkedIn company page to keep up to date with all things ISO. Thank you very much.
Enable ISO. It doesn't need to be complicated.